2,000 schools in the country. We've also embarked on large partnerships, bringing together government, private sector, UN agencies to promote what we call Generation Unlimited movement. Generation Unlimited is about ensuring that throughout the world, including in Kenya, young people are either in schools or in training institutions or in the workplace. Young people should be either in schools or in the training institutions, or for those who are older, in the workplace. So we don't want anyone to be left outside those three areas. Unfortunately, we still have a long way to go, and we are working with all partners to ensure that that happens. The other area is about youth innovation. In 2020, a virtual youth challenge to identify and generate transformative ideas from 45 young people was convened by UNICEF and partners in Kenya. The Green Project Initiative, a team of young men and a lady from an informal urban settlement, emerged as Generation Unlimited Youth Challenge Global winners. The Green Project Initiative, now rebranded as Motobricks, proposed a waste management solution that recycles and uses organic waste to make briquettes, reducing waste while creating employment to youth and promoting environmental conservation. We are glad that Motobrick and other ideas supported by UNICEF are in this forum, showcasing their ideas and creating networking, which is critical for them to scale up their ideas. There's another innovation in the area of mobilizing young people, which is called U-Report throughout the world, but in Kenya we call it UniTalk. UNICEF and the State Department for Youth Affairs launched the UniTalk platform with more than 50,000 young people to amplify their voices with the ambition to reach 1 million young people in the coming years. UNICEF is glad to have partnered with Kenya, this is the Kenya National Innovation Agency, to promote Kenya Innovation Week on this platform and support young people across the country who otherwise may not have had the opportunity to also participate in this forum to showcase their ideas. I understand that these young people were part of the pre-forum, and some of them are still around. Another area of innovation is what we call Upshift. This is a social innovation program whereby UNICEF work with young people throughout the world, not to teach them new skills, but rather to unlock their potential by giving them an opportunity to think about solutions to problems that affect their areas and their communities. And based on this, UNICEF provide mentorship to ensure that some of these solutions are turned into services and products that the communities need. In Kenya, UNICEF and Zuhura Impact Organization have digitized this social innovation curriculum. Now it's available for free to all young people online. There are also innovations in other areas such as health and child protection and social protection. This includes some of the work we are doing now with some select counties and Philips to monitor health equipment and ensure timely repair and maintenance and troubleshooting and planning for better delivery of health services. From January onwards, our conversation with the Minister of Health is that they will then take to scale some of these innovations in the health sector. In child protection, and we all know that FGM is one of the challenges that a lot of girls face in some part of the country. We've been working with border communities to enhance reporting and access to services for survivors of FGM through FGM app. ensuring access to services for children through Child Helpline, and using artificial intelligence to expand services for mental health and psychosocial support for young people. And this has been done also in collaboration with our sister agency, UNFPA. Innovations in social protection include the work we've been doing with the government and other stakeholders to deliver wide-scale cash transfer programs for households and delivering nutrition and health education to improve lives of at-risk children in those households. In conclusion, I will say that the COVID pandemic, has put a fresh impetus on the need to invest in innovation and to put the right policies and strategic frameworks in place to unleash Kenyan ingenuity on the world. Not only will it require the development of new inclusive education tools and programs that leverage the power of technology to scale, but also activate collaboration with educators, policymakers, private sector partners, as well as young people themselves. It's crucial that we provide the Kenyan youth with the skills and support the mindset to become innovators so that they can claim their space and compete globally in a fast-changing world where robots, artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, you name it, will have displaced up to 800 million workers throughout the world. So it's very important for us to support young people to be very competitive. With the right skills and an enabling environment, young people can develop homegrown innovations that are uniquely adaptable to the African context. Once again, I would like to renew our commitment as UNICEF to work with government and all stakeholders to improve the lives of children and young people in Kenya through innovation and partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lokenga. That's the UNICEF Deputy Representative in our country, and we appreciate the commitment you've made to continue working with our Kenya National Innovation Agency to support the youth and all other interested people so that they become more innovative as we move forward. It's now my honor to invite Walid Badawi, resident representative of UNDP, to make remarks.
Thank you, PS Nabukwezi, PS State Department of University Education and Research. May I acknowledge our chief guest, CS Mucheru, my good friend, Ambassador Kadri Humal, Honorary Consul of Estonia in Kenya, Mr. Ruben Marwanga, Chairman of Kenya, my new friend, Mr. Tony Omwanza, CEO of Kenya, development partners here present, acknowledge Mr. Thomas Wimmer, Deputy Head of Mission, the Federal Republic of Germany, and all of our distinguished guests and representatives here today. Let me use all protocol observed, and hamjambo everyone. It's really a great honor to join my UN colleagues here, Lauren Landis, the WFP Country Director, Mr. Jean Lukenga, UNICEF Deputy Rep, and to be on this special occasion of the first inaugural Kenya Innovation Week, where we reflect, celebrate, and contemplate the role of innovation in Kenya's economy. I am especially grateful to Kenya for hosting this very, very important event and for creating the space that focuses on a topic that is so critical to to the country's growth and development and attaining the development goals enshrined in Agenda 2030, the Medium-Term Plan 3, regional development goals in Agenda 2063, and of course, the Global Sustainable Development Goals. Let me begin by emphasizing that the Kenyan innovation ecosystem is on the move. Kenya is recognized as a leading hub for innovation on the continent, thanks to several strengths, including a robust innovation policy framework, credible institutions, a growing number of investors, a huge population with access to technology, and a growing number of innovative startups active in the ecosystem, to name but a few of these enabling conditions. Kenya has experienced tremendous growth in the last decade, supported by the improvement of key development indicators such as an increasing number of innovation tech hubs across the country, standing currently at 48 according to a GSMA 2019 report, which ranked Kenya fourth in Africa with a total of 618 tech hubs, with 48 being here in Kenya. But also Kenya has invested greatly in increased broadband connectivity, its increased funding and investments, but also by government and development partners and the private sector towards decentralizing innovation in the country. So the potential impact of innovation in supporting social and economic development in developing countries relies on the maturity of national innovation ecosystems. Innovation ecosystems not only increase the number of startups, but also lead to new jobs and economic growth by the creation of new businesses and employment categories. We've heard the story of Estonia today. This is why having a state corporation such as Kenya, charged with the responsibility to develop and manage the innovation ecosystem, is so critical to the country. In the last 10 years, Kenya has seen more businesses and startups being registered. In a report by the Business Daily in September 2021, it was noted that new business registration at the Attorney General's office crossed the 100,000 mark, a rise of 38.7% in a year to June amidst a pandemic. There's a huge appetite for innovative products and services, further facilitated by dynamic financial infrastructures such as Lipa and M-Pesa, M-Pesa One Tap, Pochi la Biashara, and other products designed to facilitate ease of business. To support the aspiration of startups and established companies to develop innovative products and bring them to market requires a collaborative effort. Kenya's potential to generate cross-county and cross-country solutions and markets is largely untapped. There's an urgent need to foster linkages between sectors, counties, and ecosystems, and ensure that innovation growth and development is happening in sustainable and equitable ways. Ladies and gentlemen, what is UNDP doing? Last year, in partnership between the Ministry of ICT, Youth and Innovation, Konza Technopolis, UK Kenya Tech Hub, and it's great to see you here, Sheena, Thunderbird School of Global Management, and it's great to see you here, Philip, as well, Digo, and other partners in this room, we supported the launch of the Great COVID-19 Innovation Challenge. The challenge demonstrated the power of partnerships and provided new models for government, private, and innovator ecosystem sector collaboration in the era of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We have also engaged and supported other challenges, such as the Gen U Youth Challenge, which my brother Jean Lukenga just mentioned, where Green Project Initiative Kenya emerged as a winner. But we also supported a Disability Inclusive Innovation Challenge and a Creatives Innovation Challenge. We do appreciate that innovation challenges can be a mechanism to harness innovations and solutions across a wide demographic scope. Many of the innovators supported in these challenges have gone on to scale up their operations, like Swift Lab, a Kenyan-grown cargo drone company who now has a 3-year partnership with Kenya Posta, Hygiene Ricks, who have since the acceleration program gone on to have a customer base of more than 100,000 for their innovative waste management product and develop more products that are now KEBS certified. In September, we were honored to have Her Excellency President Kaljulaid visit Swift Lab and to see just how Kenya is leading the world on some of these innovations which we have surfaced through the innovation challenges. Kenyan innovators are developing game-changing solutions addressing pertinent challenges facing the country, and the innovation challenges that I've mentioned have revealed just that ingenuity. The use of artificial intelligence and LED technology in crop farming and diagnostics, GPS, drone, and mobile technology in healthcare, business support software and advanced apps for organizational and people development, use of virtual reality and robotics for education and capacity building, just to mention but a few. And these point towards the great resource that we have here in Kenya, and I'm sure over the course of this week we'll see many, many others. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have a role to play in facilitating an enabling environment for innovators to thrive. For its part, UNDP is keen to foster partnerships that build on the transformative power of digitalization, knowledge, and innovation to address development challenges around the world. Globally, our recently approved UNDP Strategic Plan 2022 to 2025 has innovation and digital as strategic enablers for development. These frameworks underpin UNDP's determination to stay at the forefront of development thinking and innovation. At the regional level here in Africa, UNDP is also working towards delivering an agile UNDP Africa digital strategy and programmatic offer that is supported by a robust multi-stakeholder digital collaborative. Nationally, as part of our SDG integrator role, UNDP is working together with the government and under the leadership of CS Mucheru, but also other development partners, academia, civil society, the private sector, and other UN agencies to co-create and collaborate under the Kenya SDG Accelerator Lab as a key driver for infusing innovative approaches to development challenges. And the singular focus and frontier challenge of the Accelerator Lab here in Kenya is youth unemployment. The lab was launched in September 2019 through a communique signed by the government of Kenya on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. It is powered by UNDP's own Accelerator Lab, which is part of a global lab network, which was initiated by our administrator, Mr. Akim Steiner, and which itself is supported by the generous contributions from the governments of Germany, Qatar, and Italy. So this Accelerator Lab network is a service offering that explores new data, partnerships, solutions, and testing prototypes and hypotheses to scale and grow local solutions to global and national challenges. It is indeed an added value to the development sector in Kenya that will augment the already vibrant technological and innovation culture that exists. So in collaboration with local actors, including the private sector, academia, development partners, the labs seek to identify and harness homegrown solutions that have proof of concept to bring them to scale, while creating an enabling environment for young innovators to conceptualize, test, and deliver interventions that best work for their communities. The premise of these labs is to reimagine how development work is done, promoting a culture of innovation and experimentation. As part of the Accelerator Lab, we are working closely with the Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs to bolster the Huduma White Box platform to enable innovators to gain access to training, knowledge, networks, and financial resources to grow and scale their ideas and solutions. The Huduma White Box also serves the function of assimilating innovation into the country's development agendas, both nationally and subnationally. Ladies and gentlemen, to accelerate innovation sustainably requires us to redouble our efforts in reaching youth across the country. We need to address gaps in education, access to information and services, particularly among low-income populations. It is in this context that UNDP has partnered with the Isiolo County Government, the Kenya School of Government, and we're in their home today, and the National Youth Council to launch and support a youth learning and innovation center in Isiolo. And we were honored to have CS Muchero join us recently on a visit to the Isiolo Innovation Center. And we are currently working with the county government of Tana River to mobilize resources for a similar innovation hub and city. And we are codifying these cases for replication in other counties. Just last week, at the invitation of His Excellency Governor Godana of Tana River, we had an event that showcased the plans of Tana River, and we are looking to see how we partner with institutions like the Council of Governors, the FCDC, Pwani, to scale these innovation centers in every single one of the counties across the country. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, we must continue to work together to advance young people's skills in problem solving and innovating. We must continue to facilitate the growth of local industries and startups to scale. A concerted effort to support community innovations is necessary, and this process must be inclusive, responsive, and relevant to present realities. Just as we have in the past, UNDP looks forward to working with all of you to surface and grow new and cutting-edge innovations that address the most pressing development challenges of our time, be it climate change, gender-based violence, as we celebrate the 16 days of activism, and that's why I'm wearing an orange tie, corruption, or even road safety. All of these are areas that certainly can benefit from the brilliance of the young minds in this great country. So I do want to appreciate the great work done by all of the stakeholders assembled here and those that may not be present with us in ensuring that youth and innovation becomes the currency of development. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Badawi, for the support you've given through partnerships with the county governments and with the national government to give us support in developing ideas that will transform our economy and our country. And I'm very happy that you remain committed to working with the Kenya National Innovation Agency so that we become more innovative in days to come. I now wish to invite the last speaker, Doreen Landis, representative and country director, WFP Kenya Country Office, to make remarks.
Good morning. It's so nice to be distinguished colleagues, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. When I first joined WFP here in Kenya, a little over a year ago as country director, I knew that innovation was going to be a large part of my work and strategy going forward. Why? The World Food Program in Kenya is evolving. In previous years, we focused on emergency food assistance, primarily for refugees and drought, and we distributed basic commodities like rice and maize for vulnerable populations throughout Kenya. But we've transformed. Over the past decade, we are now focused more on activities that strengthen the resilience of Kenya, of people and of institutions, improving their capacity to withstand economic and climate shocks, through a diverse combination of interventions to improve agricultural output, livelihood, and connect people and institutions to markets. We like to say that now we're focused not only on saving lives, but also changing lives. Innovation and entrepreneurial thinking are key in this evolution process. As home to one of the most established innovation ecosystems, as Walid has mentioned this morning, Kenya provides an ideal environment for this transformation. Today, the Kenya Innovation Week offers us, as WFP, a unique opportunity to connect and further with the Kenyan innovation community. We hope to learn a lot from all of you brilliant innovators and to identify opportunities to collaborate and to take advantage of your best ideas, particularly those that improve food systems. That innovation culture, that innovation spirit of Kenya is truly special. And I believe this spirit rings throughout the country, not just with the entrepreneurs here today, but also in the private sector and in the government, both at national and county level. Kenya, like most middle-income countries, has made significant gains in mapping the ambitious social economic targets. However, as has already been mentioned today, in the ASALs, there are still high level of poverty and low levels of development. This is where WFP focuses its work, and this is where we need innovation and innovative solutions the most, with solutions coming from all parts of the country, all corners of the country, and not just Nairobi. What makes Kenya one of the most interesting places to launch new solutions is that there is a lot of locally led and necessity-based innovations that can be used anywhere in the world. And PESA was mentioned earlier today as one such example. Quite often, the missing piece is the ability to scale. And this is another area that we are very much interested in. WFP being one of those UN organizations with a large deep field presence, we are really focused on driving change in this space at the deep field and scaling bold innovations and technologies across the globe to disrupt hunger and deliver on the promise of the SDGs. I was astounded to learn when I first arrived that the Kenya Country Office, the office I manage, has been effectively driving and leveraging innovation since 2015. And we have a demonstrated, proven track record of implementing innovative solutions in the deep field and changing environments. We also have an established network in the national, regional, and global innovation ecosystem. For us, it is essential to work together with the national government, our UN sister agencies, to find effective ways to foster innovations and innovative approaches in Kenya, because we believe we need to deliver as one, and we need to work together to find those best innovations. To this end, we recently signed a letter of intent with the Kenyan National Innovation Agency that will serve us as a guide and foundation for our collaboration here in Kenya. This relationship will be pivotal in testing and scaling projects in support of the Sustainable Development Goals, which Kenya has been very keen to support and amplify through many avenues. So Tony, we're part of the movement, and we're very proud to be part. We're also excited to see county-level innovation centers in the ESSAL's counties, particularly, come to life. As Walid has said, this really aligns our common vision and goal to take innovation to the ground where it is needed most. Through the county-level innovation centers, we aim to leverage the ongoing government initiative of strengthening counties by engaging and building long-lasting partnerships, with the ultimate goal of strengthening resilience of vulnerable populations in the ESSAL regions. Using the human-centered design that has been mentioned so much this morning, we will empower local communities, starting with the youth, to identify challenges and develop homegrown solutions. These centers will also give academia, investors, and other innovators in major cities like Nairobi a space where they can collaborate, co-create, and innovate for social good. We have already heard about the great blueprint for this vision by UNDP and Isiolo, and we hope to strengthen interactions with Walid and UNDP in this regard so that we can drive the design of innovation centers without reinventing the wheel. We will make sure we can merge efforts and plug into what is already working, finding ways to amplify the impact for the communities in need. Our innovation team is already, again, talking to UNICEF as well, sharing experiences and finding opportunities for synergy. I'm particularly excited in the area of how we can work together on youth, in mobilizing young people, and these homegrown solutions. So, as the last speaker in this group this morning, ladies and gentlemen, we at WFP look forward to a good week and to being part of the movement. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Madam. We are encouraged and challenged at the same time so that we provide basic needs, which include peace and food, in order for people to think rightly and become more innovative. That brings us to the end of that group of speeches, and I've consulted with the chief guest and wish to make a proposal that because the governor's representative is not present, we only have 2 brief speeches to follow. And if we are strong enough, I can make remarks on behalf of my minister and invite the chief guest to conclude this session so that we take a break for lunch, then come back at 2 p.m. to continue from there. Is that agreeable? Thank you very much. The guest of honor has just stepped out to receive a call. He'll be back very soon. I'm happy he is back. I now wear the hat of my Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, to read his speech. Honorable John Musheru, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology, Youth and Innovation, Principal Secretaries present, ambassadors and high commissioners present, representatives of the development partners, board chair, Kenya National Innovation Agency, CEO, Kenya National Innovation Agency, media houses, representatives, distinguished participants and innovators, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to join you this morning for this important event. The government recognizes the research, science, technology, and innovation, which are essential for social and economic development and are especially central to competitiveness in an increasingly globalized and knowledge-based world. Kenya is ranked position 95 and position 85 in the 2021 Global Competitive Index and Global Innovation Index, respectively. For this to improve, we require a well-coordinated, developed and visible national innovation system. This will be achieved through consolidation of efforts by all national innovation system players and synergies to realize the long dream of an exclusively, and I quote, innovativeness of Kenyans, the potential Silicon Savannah in sub-Saharan Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, given the profound social changes and economic challenges Kenya is now experiencing, the importance of research, science, technology, and innovation must be made a priority. In the recent past, the government of Kenya has positioned research, science, technology, and innovation activities at the core of its activities and initiatives by reviewing the policies and enacting the Science, Technology, and Innovation Act. In 2013, the ministry, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, developed the National Research, Science, Technology, and Innovation Framework, which is a 5-year plan focusing on the Big Four agenda that deals with affordable health and housing, food security, and manufacturing, among other priority areas. Notable achievements have been realized within the National Innovation System. In particular, introduction of the National Innovation Award supporting development and commercialization of innovations or research outputs across all sectors of the economy, and the introduction of the Leaders in Innovation Fellowship Program through the Kenya and United Kingdom partnership. The innovation system has evolved rapidly in the recent past with the establishment and development of innovation hubs and incubation centers. Innovation hubs have contributed to the creation and growth of innovation-based companies through incubation and spin-off processes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kenya National Innovation Week is one of the flagship activities and initiatives anchored on the 10 years framework. The Kenya Innovation Week breaks the silos in our working mentality within the national innovation system through creation of partnerships and synergies. These partnerships and synergies will be created around elements that speak to our national priorities, including the skills and talents for innovation, which will be aligned and amplified based on national priorities like the competence-based curriculum, CBC. We expect the annual Innovation Week to contribute towards a well-coordinated, developed and visible national innovation system, thereby mainstreaming activities and initiatives aimed at achieving the Vision 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals, and Africa's Development Agenda 2063. Our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, the inauguration of the Kenya Innovation Week under the Ministry of Education will be an annual flagship initiative. The Kenya Innovation Week will be positioned to enable us address key challenges within the national innovation ecosystem, including the innovation skills mismatch between demand and supply. In the coming years and beyond, the Kenya Innovation Week platform will have a bigger role to play towards providing clarity on the support of innovations and how different players in the system should engage, especially the ever-increasing international players, hubs, accelerators, and ventures. This will address the issue of fragmented and uncoordinated reality within the national innovation ecosystem. You may observe that activities of development partners, private sector, and government don't always speak to each other. The national innovation ecosystem, therefore, lacks the technology transfer offices to facilitate the 4 key elements of innovation development and management, which are collaboration, ideation, implementation, and value creation. The ministry will provide clarity and guidance on how the technology transfer offices will be embedded for purposes of addressing the 4 strategic issues within the national innovation ecosystem, which are innovation commercialization, startups, skills and monitoring, and evaluation, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, with these remarks, it's now my great honor and pleasure to invite our chief guest this morning, the Honorable Joe Mucheru, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Youth and Innovation, to make his remarks and officially declare the inaugural Kenya Innovation Week officially opened. Thank you and welcome, Honorable Minister.
Amongst friends, I look in front, I see all good friends, and obviously all the people I'm with here. So a very nice Monday. There are many choices of where to be, and I'm really glad that I was able to be here with you. So Ambassador Simon Nabukwesi, the PS, the Chief Administrative Secretary is present, and PSs, members of the diplomatic corps that are present, representatives of the development partners, the board chair of the Kenya National Innovation Agency, CEO, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished participants and innovators, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. I think before I start, can I find out how many innovators are in the crowd? Please stand. You know you've been seated for so long. Please stand, the innovators. Okay. Great. Please, you can be seated. Any aspiring innovators? How many funders? How many people are looking for innovations in the crowd? Some are slightly shy, but okay. Excellent. You can also be seated. And I'm really glad to see the scouts here. Thank you for inviting them and bringing them on board. This is good, so that as we move on with our innovations, we want to make sure we're innovating in every area. I have a speech, but I feel you've listened to a lot, and I think a lot of what has been said, including things that are within our ministry, cover majority of the things that government is doing. So I wanted maybe just to have a basic conversation. You know, to be in a function where someone has slides, KPMG, a year before the elections is very unique. I think most functions I've been to, and I was in one yesterday. Actually, we just came back from London with CS Matiang'i, and we were in Kisii trying to build a school. But all of them, they start with God is good, and all the time. I haven't heard that here. And in fact, it was very good to see that the moderator or the MC can predict when the speaker says in conclusion, and they come, because where many of the events I go to, there are many in conclusions. These things never end. But I'm really glad to be amongst friends, and it is true, as UNICEF has said, we've had the Nairobi Innovation Week. So this is, I don't know, an upgrade, Chairman, to make it national, even though, we are continuing. I think as a country, innovation has been really at the heart of the things that we do. And the truth is, innovation doesn't have to be something new. Innovation is something that you can use to solve a problem. And for me, the greatest innovation that has happened in these last 5 years is the handshake. This is something that we've had for a very long time, and even when we were kids, we were told to shake hands. But let me assure you, had we not had handshake, today would be a tear gas Monday. We would actually probably not be able to have a whole week of functions a year before the elections. So whatever it is that we want to innovate, we want to build on, it must be something that improves lives, must be something that gives us peace and allows us to move the country forward. And so the peace that we've been enjoying has been great. And I hope, Walid, that is not politics. The last time we were with him in Isiolo, the media quoted me on very many things I did not say. So at least he almost said, had he not been there, he would not be in an event with me. So I'm glad that he's here with us, because we're not really focusing on politics, but how can we build and develop this country of ours? I think, I've been in government now for a while. I was in private sector before. And when I really look at what are the real challenges that our innovations face, real challenges that our innovators face, I think the first one is we do not have a centralized skills database. Chairman and PS, if today you're looking for the best web designer in the country, there's no centralized place you can go and find this person. I was speaking to, one of the head of IBM in the country, and I was looking for, who's the best developer. And even her, she's not quite clear. The people who are even in the industry can't tell you who's the best plumber. And I think in this day and age, we should be able to know where you can find the best talent. So we started a process of cultivating talent. We're doing this with UNESCO for the ICT sector. We want to be able to not only have a register and an audit of all the skills that we have, but we can then plan on how can we improve. Because if we're going to lead in innovations, if we're going to lead in technology, if we're going to be a knowledge-based economy, then we must be able to know where we stand and where we start with these technologies and the skills that we have in the country. So that register would be very useful, I think, of knowing where is the talent. If you ask me in Kuresoi, who's a network engineer, we don't know where to start. I think that should be something that we can set up. Time is usually the most important aspect of our lives, and more so when you're running a business, a startup. You want to be able to spend the time and every little amount of time that you have on developing your product, your research, ensuring that you're servicing the customers the way they should be serviced. And this is the other thing I've seen, that we do not have usually the capital or the cash that allows you to have the freedom to spend your time on your innovation. Because you're busy looking for money, you're busy looking for sales, you're busy trying to resolve salaries, rents, and so on, you end up not focusing on the actual innovation and making it grow. When I was at Google, YouTube and other products and other companies were allowed to continue just to do what they needed to do without having any profits, so that they can actually develop the best solution that customers need. So investors, how can we build that kind of culture? You innovators, how much is it worth for you not to have the headache of worrying about salaries and rents every month? Is it 20%? Is it 30% equity? What percentage? Because we go through this whole valuation and looking at how these businesses are, how much money, and eventually you spend so much time raising money, so much time trying to pay rents, so much time paying salaries and so on. The innovation itself gets left behind. I think we need to find a method, and maybe Kenya needs to find a way of how can we at least provide that capital that is needed to ensure that the overheads are taken care of. But you as innovators, what equity are you going to provide so that someone takes care of your overheads? And are you then going to become lazy and not deliver, or what is going to happen? Those are the areas I think that we're grappling with. And many companies that we compete with globally have actually been able to find ways of having that capital that allows them to have freedom of mind to be able to think through the actual business, the product, and they do that even for years. It doesn't have to be done all at once. So I'm very pleased to have been invited to be chief guest for this event by the Ministry of Education as well as Kenya. And really I want to congratulate them for bringing all of us together. I mean, they've brought everybody that matters. I was just speaking with His Excellency the President. He's very happy that we are having this session, and he sends his greetings to you all and wishes you all a great week of innovation, and the one that will deliver a lot for us. So I hope, as we grow and as we expand, you know that you have a great supporter from His Excellency the President. I listened to the chairman when you spoke about CS Matiang'i and him wanting to shut down Kenya. I think that wasn't the case. He was trying to see if it can come to the Ministry of ICT. We've been having this very healthy debate as to where should it be. And I think I don't disagree with where it is, that education is really at the heart of everything that we do. And as technology becomes an integral part of everyday life, then over time, it will still make a lot of sense to have all the innovations happening within education. So it's not in the wrong place, and I'm glad that it's getting the full support. The only area that I would want to encourage is that the measure of success must be in the number of unicorns that we get in the country. You can increase your staff, you can increase your budgets, but how many startups have grown to the $1 billion valuation? When I look at the last 5 years, how many new businesses have come up and innovated and are growing that we can actually work with? And I think that is really a very important measure that we need to put in place. So alongside the talent database, do we have an innovation database? Those investors who have come, they have come because there isn't a central place where they can find this innovation. Even the Huduma White Box that Walid talked about earlier, it's not open to the public for you to come and find these businesses. But I think we should have a forum, a continuous forum where anybody that has capital and wants to invest in this country and in the startups can actually be able to see from an innovations database what innovations are there, which sector, and then be able to engage with the innovators so that they can be able to invest. So the reality on the ground is that we have many innovations, but those innovations are not able to link with the investors. And even when they link, the framework of investment, I think, is one of the big challenges. The investor is looking for guarantees that the business is going to deliver the promise that they are making. The innovator is looking for cash to be able to build or research or get the idea to commercialize it and make it work. And that's not always working out well. So we need to find a methodology on how, through Kenya, we can put together a framework that will allow for that integration, allow for the negotiations and the discussions to happen, so that we can begin to compete in terms of unicorns with Estonia. We're benchmarking a lot with the things that they are doing, and I think that's one of the areas where they've been able to ensure that it's very easy to find the talent, it's very easy to find the innovations, and to invest in those innovations. And Kenya needs to even work closer with the Securities Exchange, so that listing of these companies can actually also happen, so that it is easier to move things forward. I would say, our time in the UK, we went, I was in actually Cairo the week before, and we were discussing the future of tech, discussing the future of finance, and in each of those, it is very good to see that Kenya is mentioned and that Kenya is at the heart of this development. Not just because of the innovations, but the innovativeness in which our citizens use technology. Whether it's the robust Kenyans on Twitter that many of us don't want to engage all the time, or it's those on M-Pesa. 42 loans a second issued on M-Pesa. By the way, it's a great way people can borrow from their bedrooms, they can borrow from the markets with technology, and they pay back. We're talking of a default rate of about 2%, but it's a huge ecosystem that is growing, a fintech ecosystem. I met some Kenyans while in the UK, and they were asking, what can we do to get M-Pesa to the UK? Because for them, when they send money home, it goes to the person they are sending to direct, and they have no problem, and they can get an SMS confirming the person has received, because that's what M-Pesa allows. But if you want to send from Kenya to the UK, you send to a bank account, and they still have to go and deal with the banks in the old traditional way. So they were asking, what can be done? And I told them that Vodafone actually is a UK company, and maybe we'll find a way of how that can work. But Kenya is doing well, but we're not seeing the unicorns. So we need to find ways of how these unicorns come up. There are new areas that are old to us that we must build on. Blockchain, cryptocurrencies. I think in our times when we were slightly younger, we pushed the envelope. We challenged regulations and all this to make sure that we were able to move forward. I know we fought when I was in industry very hard before the government, the monopoly of Telecom Kenya, when there were no gateway licenses. And in fact, I was in a company where we sued the government. I never imagined one day I would be in government. I thought I would be in one of the cells or somewhere as somebody who pushed. But I was actually awarded an MBS by the former president, Mwai Kibaki. And that was, from the minister Mwiraria, who was the minister of finance then, was saying they never imagined you could tax money. So they were taxing airtime. Today that is normal. That's when airtime began. And, government will support innovations. Government will, we are there, and we've experienced all these changes that have come. those innovations that came, gateway licenses, mobile licenses being opened up, created, I mean, Safaricom is now almost 20, 30 times the size of Telecom Kenya, where it came from as a department. So we should not be shy, even those that are in government, to innovate even in the areas where we are, because we will be able to make a very significant difference. And that's why I'm saying even in areas such as blockchain, crypto, we need to be leading the world. The world is actually looking at where we are going and what we can be able to do so that we can actually be able to bring a revival even in the continent. I'll say that we have a great opportunity also as innovators. A market of 50 million people is a small market. When you compare the market like China, 1.4 billion people. When our president visited, they said they want to do a pilot on avocados from Kenya, importing avocados from Kenya. They asked for 100 million avocados a week. It's an area where you can look at, but I don't know, how many of you grow avocados here? One is about 1,000 shillings. And China is ready to buy 100 million every week. Multiply that by 52 weeks. That's a big business. It's a big opportunity because it's a big market. I think the year before they had bought 1 billion movie tickets to watch movies in China. So when you look at our market of 50 million, it is very small. When you look at the Indian market, 1.3 billion is also big. But now with the Continental Free Trade Area, Africa is now open. The Smart Africa Alliance we were working on, or our heads of state were building, of a single digital market has now moved from 700 million to 1.3 billion people. That's the size of market that we're now talking about. Which means we can be able to do even more. We can be able to expand, and the government is ensuring that all the facilities, whatever is required to be able to expand and use and take advantage of this market is actually done. And so we need to find ways of being able to scale, being able to grow our businesses. So I did not want to take too much time reading my speech because many people have already covered most of the areas I was going to cover. The keynote was very well presented. But I would say, in conclusion, that the opportunities that we have are immense. And we as a country must take full advantage. And we must carry everyone with us. So I'm really pleased again, let me just mention, just seeing the scouts with us here. I plan to visit the stands to understand what we have available and what we can invest in. Maybe next year, this time, I'll be an investor sitting on this side. And very happy to do so because the opportunities are immense. So with those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great honor and pleasure to declare the Kenya Innovation Week 2021 inaugural forum officially opened. Thank you, asanteni sana.
Thanks very much, CS. I think we have the foundation we need to propel ourselves for the next several days as part of the Innovation Week. It'll be great to keep this moment in memory, so I will invite all of us who are standing, who are seated in front for a group photo. Then we will have laid the foundation for the walk into the innovation space, that we might see what some of the young innovators are doing, as well as institutions. We've got government agencies as well as non-government. So please, maybe you can guide us how best you'd like us to stand here, COVID constraints in mind.
innovators have for many years lacked the support to upscale their innovations. This is what Kenya National Innovation Agency is here for.
So let me tell you about the Kenya National Innovation Agency, in short form Kenya. My name is Dr. Tony Mwanza. I am the substantive CEO of that agency. So the agency was set up by an Act of Parliament of 2013 to nurture and develop the innovation system of the country. We've got a number of initiatives that we want to establish and promote in order to build the narrative of startups in Kenya. One of them is going to be the Kenyan National Innovation Week. So we'll call it the Kenya Innovation Week. That will happen from the 6th to the 10th of December. So let me tell you a little bit about the 4 tracks that we are focusing as part of the Kenya Innovation Week. They are, number 1, skills for innovation; 2, startups Kenya; 3, research and commercialization; and then 4, technology and 4th industrial revolution. So here is the plan. We want to get the entire country revolving around the Kenya Innovation Week in that particular time. You see, we celebrate days like Mashujaa Day, and the whole country focuses on that. And on the innovation agenda, we want the whole country to focus on innovation at that particular time. So what we want to do is to run events and programs across the entire country. Counties, innovation hubs, universities, TVETs, research centers, all have a place to play in the innovation activities of that week. Now we're going to have workshops, seminars, boot camps, hackathons, training forums, and so on and so forth. For 2021, our theme is the innovativeness of Kenyans. Now there is a reason why we want to focus on the people, because it is the movement that comes out of people that then creates the solutions. Remember, each of us is creative, each of us is innovative. It's just that our style and our intensity at a personal level is different. So when we say the innovativeness of Kenyans, each of us should feel that they're part and parcel of it.
I'm delighted to announce that Kenya National Innovation Agency plans to run an annual Kenya Innovation Week with the theme, The Innovativeness of Kenyans, between 6th and 10th December 2021 at the Kenya School of Government in Lower Kabete. The Innovation Week is set up as a flagship innovation forum for the country. The event will focus on 4 thematic areas, namely skills for innovation, startup Kenya, research, commercialization and technology, and 4th industrial revolution. This collection of our summits in one event shall be the beginning of a new and impactful movement as envisaged by Kenya National Innovation Agency, and I'm delighted to invite everyone to join this movement to build our future today.